Hey guys, Paeter Franzen here from christiangeekcentral.com and Spirit Blade Productions for a kind of off-the-cuff conversation interaction about the movie Five Nights at Freddy's. I am joined by both of my sons, my youngest Titus and our oldest Asher. And I think it's really key that they are here for this conversation because they are certainly the audience for this movie more than I am. So I'm going to probably mostly just kind of ask them what they thought of various parts of the movie. First off, we are probably going to just end up spoiling things. So just know that in advance. If it helps at all, I can tell you up front that if you share similar tastes to me, this movie will probably not be enjoyable to you, and so you probably won't mind, the spoilers. So if you like were a clone of me, long story short, I'd say skip this one, unless you have a reason to watch it, like I did with my boys. So anyway, that said, we're entering into full spoiler territory. Let's talk about the story. What did you guys think of the story? I mean, just a quick recap, and then I'll shut up. It's about a guy in his 20s who has a young sister about 12, 15 years younger than him, 10 years at least. Their parents have both died. He is her caretaker, but his ability to do that responsibly is called into question by his aunt, who is like a mustache-twirling evil character who wants custody of his younger sister. So he's trying to get his act together to keep custody, and part of that involves having to take this crappy night job at a Showbiz Pizza, Chuck E. Cheese style 80s family pizza place, Freddy Fazbear's or whatever. So Fazbear's. Sorry, I thought it was German. No. Fazbear. Friedrich Fazbear.
You're forever gonna be memed for that.
Yeah.
You are.
Anyway, and then, creepy things ensue, and I guess we can just kind of take it from there. What did you guys think of this? Well, no, actually, what's your connection to this franchise? Like, what's your experience been of it in the past?
So, I was first introduced to it, like, a long time ago, back, like, these were, like, the elementary school years.
Okay.
I was introduced to it by friends of mine. Someone even had, like, the first survival guide book.
Okay.
Which is basically, like, lore hints on the game and, like, how to play the game.
So you're 16 now, but this has been kind of part of the popular culture that you've been aware of for as long as you can remember.
Yeah, for as long, I think, as... I think I've known about it for as long as FNAF 4 has been a thing.
Okay. All right.
Because that's when I was first really introduced to it, which I think is 2015, so I would have known about it for about 8 years now.
Okay, so then in those 8 years, what's your interaction been with the franchise? Have you read the books? Have you played the games? Have you just watched YouTube videos of other people playing, or what's...
So as soon as I got introduced to it, like later in my years, I started like watching other people play it.
Okay.
It was very interesting mechanic because it's very different from other horror games where at least for the first 4, you just sit in a room, you check places, see where the animatronics are going, and you stop them from getting to you.
And the room that you're sitting in is like a bank of monitors, security camera monitors that you're watching for activity
for
on,
the
right?
first 3, that is, but for the 4th one, it's a bedroom.
Okay.
But we're not going to talk about that one, because that one's very different.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine.
It's still a good game, but...
Okay, so what was Titus, your kind of like experience or interaction with this franchise up to this point?
So I probably learned about it later than Asher did. And I mean, I was surprised to figure out that Asher actually loved it, because he's not a huge horror fan.
Yeah, not at all. But you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I first got really, like, intrigued about this, I was like, well, I'm not going to do this myself, probably. I'm too scared to play horror games. So I just started watching...
That's me too.
Says the guy who... Oh, wait, you did... weren't you, like, dared into playing PT or something?
Yeah, but that's only for, like, events, and there has to be a reason to motivate me to do it. Anyway.
Okay.
So I would just watch YouTubers play it until eventually I got the urge to, like, I want to try this game. So I bought it on Steam, and I tried it, and I almost beat the game, but it ended up being too hard.
Okay.
And I tried to read some of the books, but I wasn't super interested in most of them. I only really liked the graphic novels, and I only read the first one anyways.
What about YouTubers? Have you watched YouTubers play this game, or not really?
Yes.
Okay, so as far as like hours or minutes or whatever time spent interacting with this franchise in some way, would you guys say that overwhelmingly you've spent more time watching other people play Five Nights at Freddy's games in the series compared to other ways of interacting with the intellectual property?
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, I definitely have done that a lot. That's how I got into the games, but my friend Carter also has Ultimate Custom Night, so when I went to his house, sometimes I would play that.
Okay.
That was really fun.
Okay.
And I also own both the regular novel and graphic novel of the first FNAF book, which is called The Silver Eyes.
Okay. Okay, well that's okay. We don't have to go into more detail about the games.
Story.
I basically just wanted to get some background. I've played maybe 5 minutes of one of the games, and I was like, no, not for me. So with your background with the games, how did you feel about, let's start with the story. What did you feel about the story?
So, for me, I knew I was entering into a very familiar territory because at this point, I had known pretty much the basic story of what FNAF was. Mm-hmm. Like
FNAF meaning Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes, for all the boomers out there.
And whatever I am, Gen Xer or something
Gen
like
X,
that.
Yeah. So anyways, what was I talking about?
Oh, we both got derailed. Sorry.
Yeah,
my audience knows I rabbit trail though, so that's okay.
Yeah. Crap. So.
The story.
The story, yes.
Yeah.
So I had been familiar with the story. I had already known about like how William Afton, the murderer, had lured 5 kids into a back closet disguised as a bunny costume. 5. It was 5 in the original.
But I'm talking about the movie. You knew about the plot of the movie before seeing it?
Yeah, I knew about that. I knew about like the plot twist that the kids' bodies are in the animatronics. I knew about all of that.
So did you like this story?
I did. And I also like getting to know Mike as a character.
The security guard.
Yeah. He was a very interesting character to look into. Like, when we first watched the movie and he was like being a jerk to everyone, I was like, wow, okay, that's weird. But then you learn about like his backstory and how his brother was kidnapped and killed.
Yeah.
And you like realize, oh yeah, like
he's had a hard life, and so you can kind of understand maybe why he doesn't operate well relationally with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Titus, what did you think of the story?
Of the movie?
Yeah, the movie.
I liked it, yeah, and there were, most of the time I was, like paying attention to stuff in the background. Like, in horror movies kind of like this, there's always stuff you need to be watching for in the background, because that's important information. Like, there was one time, kind of towards the beginning of the movie, where, Chica was walking by...
Chica's one of the ghost-inhabited animatronics.
For all the boomers out there.
Was one of the... he or she? It doesn't matter.
Chica sounds like a girl's name, but
Chica is a girl.
Okay.
He was walking by, behind, like, a fan of some sort, and it was only for, like, 1 second, and both me and Asher saw it.
Yeah, I missed it.
Yeah, you completely missed it.
Yeah.
Because you're a boomer.
Yeah, because I was checked out, because by then I knew this wasn't a movie for me.
So you're a boomer.
What? No.
No.
That's a boomer, that's a generational thing.
But, like...
Anyway, let's get back to were you guys interested the whole time? Were you ever bored or confused?
I was confused, like, a lot towards the beginning.
Okay.
So, sometimes...
But not bored.
No.
Okay.
Sometimes the plot does get confusing, but if you play the games, then you know that's kind of just the FNAF thing.
That's telling if you play the games.
Scott Cawthon has a very interesting habit of drawing out this huge mystery that you're just don't ever get the answer to. So like, yeah, that was my phone. Some things just end up being confusing, but as as time progresses, whether it just be like with like the movie or like through multiple games, you eventually get the answers.
Yeah, and it looks like at the end of this that they're clearly leaving it open for more movies. That I'm sure they're hoping this will be a big franchise. And you mentioned Scott Cawthon, and just on a meta level, I find this property interesting because Scott Cawthon has, I don't want to say outspoken, I don't know much about him, but I know that he's been very open, at least, about his Christian faith. He's taken some flack for his conservative political views and stuff like that. So just on a meta level, it's been interesting to watch how people, viewers and players and stuff like that, and just the Twitterverse has kind of treated him or reacted to him and stuff. Anyway, let's talk about the characters and the performances by the actors. Did you enjoy all the performances? Were there any that you didn't enjoy? What did you think? What did you feel?
So I liked everyone in their roles. I thought everyone was great at their roles. What's his name? Who plays Mike? Josh.
Oh yeah. Paeter from the Hunger Games.
Forget his name. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name, but he's great at Mike.
I agree. I think he was probably, for me, the strongest performer. I thought Vanessa was strong too. Those two are the strongest, but Mike, I really enjoyed that performance.
Yeah, I also kind of enjoyed whoever Abby's kid actor was.
Oh, okay.
Like I have a habit of just paying attention to kid actors because kid actors are for me always the most talented because they're just getting right into it at a very young age. But anyways, yeah, I liked those two. For me, for Vanessa, I'm actually a little bit mixed on because whoever her actress is, she did a great performance, but I kind of found some of her lines a bit weird.
Yeah, I agree.
But she did well with what she was given.
Yeah.
So
It was like one in particular. I thought it was a weird shift where she was like concerned about the little girl, and then she saw Mike out to the car and stuff, and suddenly she said made this very strong statement, like you do what you want with your life, but if you bring her here again, I will shoot you.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what the crap? So
that came out of nowhere.
There was some turns of dialogue. My main issue with the story was that I think it was for a younger audience. I think maybe even younger than these guys, but certainly their age as well. But for a younger audience, I think that some of the dialogue was overly simplistic, or just, if you think about it, I was like, these characters are not reacting to situations like I would anticipate real people reacting. Sometimes played for comedy too, like when buffoons were stumbling around and getting chased, they're going, ah! And like screaming in this very comical kind of way that's more for laughs than anything that would feel realistic to me.
Well, that did happen in one scene, but that's about it.
Well, the security guard at the beginning, and then the big...
that wasn't really comedy, I don't think.
Yeah, but he was still kind of like huffing and puffing, and just, he was overplaying it. He was overplaying, I thought. And then, so there was just elements of that didn't feel realistic to me, that felt more for a younger audience, which is fine. I think clearly it's meant for that audience, and it clearly seems to be connecting with that audience, and so good on the producers for figuring out, that formula and what they need to do.
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
There's one more that I'm really liking. Matthew Lillard's William Afton was great. He picked
from Scream fame, with a similar kind of mask-off moment at the end of this one.
Yeah, I had a feeling that there was going to be some sort of Scream reference because I knew he was in the original Scream movie. But anyways, yeah, he was great as William Afton. He pictured exactly what I imagined William Afton to be, like this crazy psychopathic guy who just kills kids. It was very entertaining to watch. The only problem I have with it is I feel like we just didn't get enough of him. I feel like we should have gotten a bit more, and then and then I feel like I would have been a bit more satisfied, but he was great.
Yeah, I'll bet though that we'll get more of him in the future.
I've heard that there's going to be a trilogy, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
There's rumors there's a trilogy.
I want to keep things moving because there's at least two of you, and every now and then me, that are kind of throwing all of our opinions in here. Cast, performances, what did you think? Titus.
So I kind of liked everything, except I don't really know if this counts as like the cast or performance. The animatronics.
Okay, yeah, we can move on to the stunts and visuals and the effects and stuff like that if you want. Let's talk about it. You first.
I liked everything about it, except for two parts.
Okay.
The first time was like on like night 3 or night 4. I don't know. I don't think anyone's counting.
I'll bet fans are because the game is built on a number of nights, right?
Yeah.
There were 6. Can you believe that there were a bunch of games out and now a movie, and not a single one of them has exactly 5 nights?
Oh, that is interesting. Anyway, Titus.
On one of the nights, Abby is like messing around with the animatronics. And
Abby's the little girl, his little sister.
they're so playful. Like they get along really well with the adults, and especially Abby. And they building the fort and laying on the floor. That just seemed really unusual.
Yeah, once for a horror movie, the unknown aspect of the monster or the creatures, usually that's what creates a lot of tension in horror movies, is like the creepy unknown nature of the evil that you're up against or whatever. And I want to say at the halfway mark, maybe even a little earlier, these creatures, these monsters were known. Not only that, but like the characters started getting pretty chummy with them. And so they did not, like, it was kind of a weird moment. It's like, they're all getting along. Aren't we kind of supposed to be afraid of these animatronics? Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the second thing, or were you going to keep...
No, you go.
The second thing was towards the end when Abby changed the picture on the wall, and they completely changed their thoughts and went straight towards William Afton. And I'm like, what? Because they don't operate off of pictures.
Yeah, I think that was supposed to be a callback to what the psychologist said early on in the movie when Mike is trying to get Abby to communicate because she had kind of shut down but was drawing a lot of pictures, and the doctor was saying at this age kids really communicate through pictures and drawing. That's how they...
And the kids are in the animatronics.
Yes, and so when Abby drew that picture, I think the idea is that would speak to them so much more strongly than anything else. And so she drew a picture revealing the truth that they had apparently forgotten, that William Afton had been responsible for killing them. And so that seemed to, because he was manipulating them, he had some kind of control over them, it was said during the movie. And so it seemed to me that was kind of a moment where they were woken up to the truth, you know. But I can see that, like, yeah, that would be an easy thing to miss, and it would come across as overly simplistic and stuff. Yeah. Did you guys feel that the effects, whether it's the gore from the kills or the animatronics or anything else that's kind of creating these larger-than-life unreal realities, you know, did anything feel fake or did it feel fitting and right? Or what did you think about the effects that they used?
So, well, I want to get to, like, I want to do the talk. I'll talk about, like, the visuals, but I do want to get into, like, the other stuff after this, but
what other stuff? Just so I know.
Like, just stunts and also stuff relating to the animatronics themselves.
Okay, yeah, sure. All of that is fair game right now. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna start there actually.
Okay, great.
So I want to talk about the animatronics. If you were there when the first teaser trailer came out in May, you would have seen, like, that the fans were a little bit mixed on, like, red eyes that were shown in the original teaser.
Okay.
I'm glad they toned that down because that seemed a little bit too cartoonish for me.
Okay.
They toned it down to just, like, barely emitting orange eyes, but
Okay.
I thought the animatronics looked great. And I absolutely felt like they were just real. Like, they felt real and in this world, because the sound effects really added to it for me, I think.
Yeah, like sounds of ratcheting and clank, 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 different things like that.
Yeah, and the movement, like every time they would step, you could feel their footsteps, like stomping onto the floor.
Clank, clank, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was such a cool thing.
Yeah, there was good sound design.
For some of the stunt stuff, like there was the freaking like Freddy mask saw trap thing. That's not in any of the games, but that was pretty cool.
Oh, the thing that like with all the spinning blades that like comes onto their face and
yeah.
Okay.
The one thing that kind of confuses me just a little bit is like how like they are just able to use that, how the animatronics are able to use that. I'm rethinking it now, and I'm realizing that it's probably an Afton thing.
Okay.
Because he did build all the animatronics, so it would make sense that he built them.
Okay.
And he's technically controlling them, so I guess it makes sense. But it still kind of confused me at the beginning. So.
Okay.
And then the visuals. The visuals were fine, I think. Not really anything outstanding. The electricity looked a little bit fake.
I agree.
But it's a Blumhouse movie. They make low budget horror movies look good.
And they usually have stylistic directors who can take a smaller budget and still do something engaging with them. And I feel like that there was definitely some of that at play in this movie.
Yeah, like the electricity still looked fake, but not like Mythica fake. So it wasn't it wasn't too distracting. Yeah, those are all my thoughts.
Okay. Titus, any thoughts about the effects, the animatronics, anything?
One thing, I just want to point out of, like, he like, either those sleeping pills are really strong, or I don't even know what's happening, because he's getting, like, scratched and dug deep into his skin while he's sleeping, and he doesn't wake up.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I'm so confused on that.
We can ask Mom sometime. My wife is a pharmacist, so maybe she would recognize that drug and be able to tell us how realistic that is, or not. But
I am realizing that does seem that is a little bit weird, but yeah, I guess that's just a little bit weird. I don't really know how haunting works. Nobody really does, so let's just say ghosts are able to force you to sleep.
Yeah.
And the second thing, out of all of the things in the movie, the thing that probably caused the most blood was the cupcake.
Oh, the animatronic cupcake.
The freaking cupcake.
Yeah.
That thing was a monster.
Yeah.
It did not hesitate in any situation.
Yeah.
I think in this universe it's actually the fifth kid.
Oh, is it?
Usually it's actually Golden Freddy, who in this universe was, I'm pretty sure, Garrett.
Garrett? I thought Garrett was Bonnie.
No, those were the other kids. The other kids he keeps seeing in his dreams. I'm pretty sure Garrett was Golden Freddy, who was the Freddy with the blue eye and half of only one ear. I immediately realized that was Golden Freddy, because the iconic ear missing on one side and just looking a little withered and also a little bit more yellow than the regular Freddy looks.
Yeah, because I saw Golden Freddy, and then I see the regular Freddy. I'm like, that Freddy looks more brown than the other one. What happened? And why is his eye not blue anymore? Like, how did his eye change? Like, I was really confused.
Okay, well, I wouldn't know any of it, but
we're FNAF nerds.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yes.
I need that because I'm not. I don't really have any observations about themes. I think it's similar to a lot of horror movies where basically, like, the person who is evil and bad gets it in the end, and I think you kind of see that with William Moulton Marston. No, that's the guy that created Wonder Woman, but But this guy, whatever his name is,
William Afton.
William Afton, there you go. So I mean, he gets his just desserts in the end, and yet, he has the line about "I always come back." I don't know what that means.
That is an iconic line in the FNAF franchise.
I assumed, because it didn't make any sense in that context. Like, what do you mean you always come back? This is the first time we've seen you. We don't know anything about your history. Have you died before? It doesn't seem like you have. What are you saying here? There was a lot in this movie that I felt like, I think this is for fans, and that is more like about representing and nodding to the games than it is about making sense and kind of like being on its own a strong product. And that's fine. That's totally understandable. It's just not for me. But let's wrap up with just kind of summary thoughts.
Wait, I do want to talk about that.
Okay, briefly though. I don't want this to go too long.
I know. But I do want to talk about that. That scene hit me so hard. That final scene, the acting, I feel like was the best acting in the whole movie. With the spring walk scene.
Yeah.
If you know what
when the animatronic suit he's wearing is like cutting into him, right?
Like the animatronic, it's not just cutting into him. It is like forcing itself inside of his skin.
Okay.
If you know the FNAF games, like I'm sorry about this, but like it is the most gruesome death you can ever imagine in the FNAF franchise.
I was gonna mention that like every single animatronic has like the most messed up backstory ever.
Yeah, so I think with the PG-13 rating, they're able to get away with it because of what they don't show. But again, if you're familiar with the property, then you bring in things like this with you so you can appreciate what I am not seeing, because I don't know the lore of what's going on under the suit he's wearing and what exactly it's doing to him. But these guys are familiar with it, and so
they did give a brief explanation about what the spring locks do.
Yeah, but clearly you have a deeper experience of it because of the knowledge you have. Yeah.
It's messed up, and the ending where they just leave him there to still be just being mangled up in that suit. He's still living. Like the books say that you can live for about like 10 minutes before you finally die. It is a very slow and painful death.
Okay.
I think eventually the suit just takes over your body and just uses your body as a suit.
Pretty gross.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so in summary, are you glad you saw this movie? Would you recommend this movie to others that are kind of in your same situation? Or you feel like, oh man, it could have been so cool. I love this property. It could have been so cool, and it let me down. Or how do you feel?
So the movie was originally announced once FNAF 4 came out. So FNAF fans have been waiting 8 years for this movie.
Oh, wow.
And now that I've seen it, I haven't been waiting for nearly as long because I haven't known or like been such a big fan for that long. But now having gotten to seen it, I can imagine like the satisfaction with everyone. I would say I would recommend this movie, but I would only recommend this movie to FNAF fans and people who are like really enjoy the FNAF franchise. If you are not familiar with FNAF, then I think you should play through at least the first 6 games, maybe the first 4.
Or watch them on YouTube, maybe?
Yeah, just like familiarize yourself and really get to know. Like I would especially recommend like watching the game theories on this stuff, because
one of several YouTubers featured as cast members in the movie.
Yeah, he
Anyway, no, go. That was just a little nugget I wanted to drop there. Continue with the point you were making.
Yeah, I like you should really familiarize yourself with the series before you go to watch the movie, because I really felt like it's kind of like with the Super Mario Brothers movie. These movies are really only for the fans who understand the formula and know what they're going into.
Yeah, that sounds right. Titus?
Do
you recommend this one?
Yes.
Who do you recommend it to, and why?
Well, probably. I was talking to a couple of my friends at lunch today. Like, I'm really excited because I'm gonna watch the FNAF movie tonight, and I'm like, oh, good for you. We're not huge fans of FNAF. My friend Samuel, he tried watching it one time, and he was like, it's just not his thing.
Yeah.
But then what really triggered me is that my other friend, another Samuel, said he hates it. That triggered
The games,
me.
you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
That triggered me so much. And one other point I want to make. If they do end up making a sequel,
They probably will.
Yeah. They really need to include the sister location animatronics.
Okay, I don't want to know what that is. I don't want to get into the lore,
We're not gonna.
Yeah.
Okay, who do you recommend it to?
I just told you.
You did?
Yeah, the Samuels.
This.
The Samuels. I'll say that.
Okay.
All right, for all you Samuels out there, you definitely want to see.
And FNAF fans who are very familiar with the franchise, I might add.
Yeah, and dads who, maybe just want to do something with their FNAF-loving kids. I suppose it's probably for you too, but maybe eat some good snacks and have some treats so that you can get something enjoyable out of the evening aside from the movie itself.
Just don't watch it at 8 o'clock at night. Especially if your kid has a test in the next morning.
So anyway, yeah, that's it. This one's rated PG-13 for I don't know what, but it's...
Strong violence and language.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
I memorized, I kind of sort of memorized the rating.
Okay,
I never
nice.
heard any language throughout the whole movie, though.
Yeah, it was pretty light on language. Okay, really briefly, Asher, what's the name of your YouTube channel?
Crusader 826.
All right, and Titus has one coming and to be determined, but both of these guys are going to be doing live streams. They're part of the Game Save team for Christian Geek Central this year, and so I will be mentioning when those live streams are going to be and where you can watch them at. And of course, mine's coming up on November 4th. But anyway, I think that's all we have to say for now. Thank you so much for watching. You can visit patreon.com/SpiritBlade Productions to learn
not
more.
Doing numbers out of 10 or something?
No, I don't like scores.
Okay.
Yeah. Math doesn't go well with feelings. Anyway, that's all we have to say. Thanks so much. Patreon.com/SpiritBlade Productions if you want more information about Christian Geek Central and all that jazz. But that's all for now. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
That's barely math.
Oh, good gravy. It is time again for Christian Geek Central's annual Game Save event, fundraising for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, which provides free treatment for children facing life or death circumstances and shares its cutting-edge, life-saving research with hospitals all over the world. And once again this year, I'm drawing attention to our team's fundraising by performing a 24-hour marathon of video gaming that I will live stream on youtube.com/Christian Geek Central beginning 6 a.m. Pacific Time on Saturday, November 4th. You can donate or get more info by clicking on my fundraising page in the links below, where you'll also find incentives and rewards for doing so. On top of that, I've set fundraising milestones that will unlock strange and unusual happenings as I reach them. Now, there are some stipulations and time limits on those rewards and milestones, so quickly follow the link below to my fundraising page for all the details. Believe it or not, this makes the 10th consecutive year of Christian Geek Central raising funds for kids in great need of medical care. I hope you'll be a part of helping me and the Christian Geek Central Game Save team do some good for some kids who really need it. And then please join me at youtube.com/Christian Geek Central for my 24-hour marathon starting at 6 a.m. Pacific on Saturday, November 4th. Hope to see you there.